All right, I'm so excited to be here with Ma Deva Padma. I'm Tika Morgan or Tika Morgan Dance. And today we're going to have a conversation about the paths that we're both on. And we don't have a blueprint of how we're going to conduct this experience. But it's really exciting because Padma's also my mother, and it's just it's a blessing to have a conversation with someone who is charting her path as an artist that I can see and respect and learn and grow from, but then also have this other side that is completely familial. So how we hold that is really unusual.
Yeah.
We have to try not to giggle too much because sometimes we get into the giggles and then it doesn't stop. Today I chose a card from your latest deck, the Sacred Sheet Tarot. And sometimes I choose a card and I get really into the reading of it and everything, and sometimes I just meditate on the image. But today I chose this, and this card is change, which is definitely thematic.
Yeah. And you recognize your hands.
And those are my hands.
Holding the crystal ball with the wheel of Dharma reflected in the center.
Can you say a little bit about when you are bringing through your work, such as this, for example, what is it like for you? Did the wheel of Dharma come through? Did you find yourself painting it and then you were aware of it? Like, what is that process like for you when you're creating these images? Because this is your third deck, and each one is so rich and holds so many aspects of the human condition. And so I'm so curious about, how that works for you when you're creating.
Okay. Couple of things to say. First, specifically about that particular image. The quality of the hands holding the crystal ball, and I wanted to use your very, very beautiful hands. I had some photographs of you when you were visiting at one point, and you were actually holding my crystal. Ashika and I have a beautiful crystal ball, and you were holding it. And so I wanted to have the crystal ball being the thing that was representing change. But as I was scrolling through the images, I realized that there needed to be a message within the context of change. What is it that I want to imbue the idea of change with? And the wheel of Dharma is a Buddhist symbol, but it goes back even further. It is a very ancient. If you look at the flag of India, you see the wheel on the flag. It is the movement of time, the steps that are taken over the course of a life and many lives as we move toward consciousness and awareness. So I wanted to kind of seed the crystal ball with that in its core as the message for whatever change is going on, however catastrophic or wonderful. But there's always that element of moving and developing toward growth and consciousness.
It's very different from the concept of just changing from one state of being to another. It's much more infinite.
Yeah, expansive and beyond the usual bounds that we think of, that kind of confine us in our thinking.
Yes.
And that you mentioned the other decks that I've done, that symbol of the wheel of Dharma is taken from my Tao Oracle. I actually developed it when I was doing the Tao Oracle, which is based on the Taoist angle, the Taoist perspective regarding nature and how nature is our reflection. Nature is what is our mirror. So that's, rather than creating a new one, I wanted to use from the Taoist symbol and putting it there.
I love the Tao Oracle as well. I love that aspect of it. Chinese wisdom is so ancient. For me, you know, Chinese medicine is just revolutionary, and I love that deck involves so much of the elements. I wish I had it here so I could kind of do this. The Silvestri dance technique, which I work with in a fundamental way, incorporates the elements of nature, and there's a way to embody that. And so you begin from there before you start doing anything. I like to bring that consciousness of the elements in. And I also see that with the sacred she, because we have the spirit, the major arcana in tarot, and then we have the suits of earth, water, air, and fire, of which we all reside and resides within us. Some of us have more emphasis in certain elements. Isn't that? You know, I have a lot of fire and water, you know. So air is a teacher for me. Earth is a teacher for me. And I find that working with these images and interpretations that you've created through these decks, also the Osho Zen Tarot, which was your first, probably not your first, right? Did you try something when I was little? Did you play around with...
As a kid, as a teenager, I was trying to kind of create my own interpretation of tarot because I was fascinated with it from the age of maybe 15. But the sort of official first deck was the Osho Zen, and that was attributed to Osho's Zen guidance, his wonderful discourses regarding the Zen approach to living, which is profound and very, very beautiful. And it was when he was still alive that I was invited to illustrate a tarot deck based on his Zen.
His quotations, but you actually did the interpretations of the cards.
Yeah.
I remember because at that time I went back to live in India, and was able to occasionally come up to your room and see like the latest thing, you know. The one that got me was just like, I think it's called, is it called The Burden? I haven't looked at it in a minute because I've been in the Tao and in the Sacred She. But basically there's a man, it's kind of got this sort of 16th century costumery feeling to it, kind of a Shakespearean vibe. And he's got another man on his back. He's climbing up a very steep hill, like really steep. This is my memory of it. And he's just trying to get up this hill, and he's got this man on his back just going like this, you know, and it's kind of like with this, was it a rooster on his head?
Yeah.
So it's like this triple thing of like the struggling man, and then the ego sort of saying, do more, go faster, be better. And then this rooster. And I remember that in the ashram, there was this thing that would happen where all of a sudden you would hear a rooster. Was it a rooster everywhere or a cuckoo? I can't remember. Do you remember that? It was like, it was supposed to be a device for everybody to sort of be in the moment, like whatever you're thinking, stop, kind of a thing. But anyway, I just remember going and seeing you creating these things. And also as a child, you'd get a piece of paper and I'd be sitting there and you'd be making a line and you'd be doing this thing, and then all of a sudden a world, and that to me is so magical and so inspiring. And it's funny because I don't have any aptitude for drawing, but I do bring in a similar courage in my own way of creating, because you're very courageous. I always associate you as being courageous, as a quality that, as a woman. And I think to be an artist, you have to be courageous, because you have this vision and then you're in the material world, right? Because these two worlds are so, sometimes for me, I can see an entire orchestration of choreography. I mean, it's complex and amazing, but to bring it down is excruciatingly.
It's intense.
It's intense because it doesn't come down and out the way that it comes forward in this place. And so I always feel like there's a courageousness, and you have this quality, in my perception anyway, of your personality, where you just don't give up. You just go for it. You know what I mean? And it seems to me that working with these decks, you would have had to have been very courageous and very sort of relentless.
Yeah, there's a stubbornness there that is, it's connected up with a sort of driving force, like a fire within, that thrives on the challenge of when insight occurs, when inspiration arises, there is this longing to manifest it through the means that I've been given in this life, which is to illustrate and draw and paint and bring colors and so forth. For you, it's through movement, but that force that comes from deep within one's core is inexplicable. We can't say it came from this or came from that, or I inherited from so and so. It's much bigger and much more of it's like a precious secret. And you and I share that in our union in this lifetime, our connection, apart from being mother and daughter, because we could be reversed. You could be the mom, I could be the kid. But apart from that, we share this extraordinary gift and curse, both.
Yeah, it is both.
Conduit of being a conduit.
Yeah.
For the divine.
Do you find that? Because I find that in order to allow creativity to happen, I need space and peace. And I also feel the need for my body to be as balanced as I can get it to be, which is for me a constant, it's like a constant, it's like tending a garden, it's like, oh. But the space is what allows the creativity for me to happen. And you live in such a beautiful place, but it's really remote. And recently you've been painting, which is very exciting. And I just wonder about the gift of space, the gift, and I don't mean necessarily wide open land. I just mean the space.
Yeah. when there is a lot of external noise, and I don't just mean bang bang noise or horns honking. I mean the chaotic vibration that is noisy. It fills up the space, and you can't receive
Yeah.
if the space is already full of stuff.
Wow.
So whatever it is that provides a sense of emptiness, clarity, receptivity, that's what we want to aim for, so that if we are gonna bring in something from the etheric, we want to be a vessel to receive that, rather than stuffed full of ideas and protocols and comparisons that just gets in the way of the pure stream, the water, the clarity that wants to just come through. And it isn't necessarily a pleasant thing, like taking a lovely bath. Sometimes it's surging, sometimes it's overwhelming, sometimes it's disturbing, like, oh my God, I don't know if I can handle this. But that's all part of it.
Yeah, I want to just jump in and say that the fear thing is also important. I've discovered when I'm a little bit out of my depth, there's some kind of humility component.
Yeah.
You know, and I think sometimes if you're doing your art as a vocation, I think sometimes there's a propensity toward, okay, well that worked, so I'm going to do that, but that changes the vibrational frequency so much. When I'm working on curating a retreat space, for example, or a workshop, I construct it through music, because music for me is a divine force in this world, and I can visualize and I can sense the movements that I'm going to be working with, and sometimes I go over them, but I always leave space for nothingness, because I want something to come out of me that isn't from this, you know. And it's space.
I want to interject something here, Tika.
Yeah.
I want to interject something here, because this space that you are speaking of, that empty space without any kind of agenda or affiliation, is like a cup. It's pure. It's empty. There's nothing in it. One of the things in the creative process that you and I have both journeyed through is in our development of our craft, of our art. There are points through that journey where we are affiliated with the mastery of others. Those others are models for us. They're markers on the way that have been very, very important. The work that you've done with Rosangela Silvestri, my connection to Osho. These are beings that have been incredibly important for us to get to where we are today, unique women and creators that we are today, that have been seeded through these various conduits that have offered so much to us. But at a certain point, the scary bit is when you stand there on your own little feet.
Your little feet.
Okay, yeah, my little tiny feet. When you stand there on your size 5 shoes and you say, this is it. This is me. This is what I have to give life. And it has come from all these storms and blossomings and gifts from the past. and I bring that fully into what I'm offering now. So in a way, the sacred she was, I had to go through many journeys to get to the place where I could say, now it is time for the sacred she.
Courage, courage,
Absolutely.
courage.
And you have done exactly the same thing without any kind of like, oh, you need to do it this way and oh, you
Yeah.
need to do it that way. It's been your journey to step into your own offering, but you can't do it until you're ready.
Yeah,
That's the
and
thing. You
it's
can't make it
really
happen.
it's funny because I've been involved in doing this for so long, um, but it's only recently that I've become extremely clear about my intention. It coming forward with the intention is the thing because um, only when you really, or I should speak for myself, only when I really understand my intention can I actually have the courage to put forward, to offer, and to know that I'm coming from a place of integrity within myself. And that makes it easier to deal with criticism and whatever might come, you know.
It's so true.
Yeah,
It's
it's
so true.
definitely not an easy path.
You have to be courageous. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah,
an
because
easy
the world is
path.
like,
Yeah, and it's just I mean, you know how for so long I had so much shame, you know, like I had to work through a lot of that and dance is what really has healed me and why I teach, why I provide or curate and invite is because I really want to create environments where people can experience what I experience. And one of the things that's been interesting about being your daughter is your incredible. What? Are you laughing?
keep going.
No, it's your you've always had this amazing how you see symbolism and how you see the symbolism in all kinds of art, including you know, the time of Henry VIII, you know, Buddha, like all these directions. You have this it's like you're putting things in a basket that then inform your work. And I actually have done the same thing, but in a different way. And I mean, I'm sure it sounds, well, of course, you're the daughter of this person, but you and I have not lived simultaneously. We've stayed connected in an incredibly deep way, but we have not been simultaneous because I went out like a maniac on my own, you know. And so I think it's so interesting that I am so drawn to culture and symbolism and the way that you know, especially dances that are connected with Cuba, with Brazil, with cultures that have had to have resiliency, but that have passed down movements from generation to generation, and how that affects people of all ages, so that it takes the idea of dance out of sort of, you know, they dance and I watch kind of this thing, but more into the people. And I mean, I find that art, you know, art can be the same way. It can be very elitist, it can be very separative, or it can be very connective.
That's right. And the thing is that the symbolism which you were speaking of, working with symbols and symbolism, if we set aside all the knowledge that is there, the wonderful knowledge that explains why the circle is used to represent heaven and so forth and so on. Apart from those things, if you just feel those symbols, if you get kind of inside the symbol, what is it saying to me?
Yeah.
The linear line, the horizontal line, the shape that goes like that or goes like that. What are those things saying? And you're doing that with the body. I'm doing it with pattern and forms on a page. But it's the same thing. And the thing is, I honestly feel that it's not just because we're artists that we touch this place. I think it's there encoded in everybody. I honestly believe that's the case. It's just a matter of like scratching back the surface of the known.
I agree with that. Yeah, totally. I think that's why people recognize, like, when they're drawn to something that you're doing, or something that I'm doing, or something our teachers are doing, it's a recognition of something within themselves. That's why there's no hierarchy. I think one of the things that's been really interesting to me at this time in my life, as I look back, being a kid who was involved in communal type environments of spirituality, ashram, this and that, there was such an emphasis on the one who has the information. And I find that now we're in a time where no. We're all dealing with the human condition, and we're all in this. And anything that I'm saying when I'm teaching, I don't even like to say teaching, when I'm curating a space, which people are involved.
Sharing.
Yeah.
Sharing.
It's really, it's like always reminding that I'm in this as well, and that I'm learning this as well, and like I am in this. I am not, because I think it's really easy sometimes to imagine that there's a kind of a graduation from things. And what I've discovered recently, the stuff doesn't go away, but there's a refinement, and it has less of a grip, and less of a grip. It's still there. All the stuff is still there. The human condition stuff is still there. So I find that it's really helpful to share from a place of we are in this, and when I'm working on something, and I don't know if this is true for you, but if I get goosebumps, if I get tears, if I start giggling, I'm in the right place, and I look for that when I'm working on something. I look for the feeling in my body, you know what I mean, to tell me that I'm going in the right direction. Sometimes when I've choreographed like a show, I had this method that I used to do where I would put a timer on. This is like, I would put a timer on in a dance studio, and I would film myself, and I would improvise to the track that I was choreographing to. And then I would look at it and I'd go, not that, that one thing. And then I would go back, do it again, and I would attach that one thing, and I'd improvise. And I remember with Transformations, which is on my website, there was this moment at the end with this particular sound of the violin, the guitar, and it just made me cry. And then I knew that was the end of the piece. It was just like, that's it. And it's a body thing, And I think I asked you once, Mom, how do you know when a painting is finished? And this is what I remember you said. So you can tell me what's true for you. But I remembered you saying, it's not that it's ever finished. It's that I've made peace with where it is, and I can let it go. Does that sound true?
Yes, it does. It's a kind of exhale. There's this feeling of, aha, okay. To get to that place, you go through all sorts of changes. And like you say, things are added, things are taken out. There's a whole process that goes on. Some of my paintings go on for years
Yeah.
before I finally pull the thing out of the cupboard and go, oh my God, this, it's done. There's a thing of, you spoke a moment ago about feeling it in your body. And one of the differences between our two journeys in terms of creating has been, I've been out of the body most of the time. I've been disembodied. Like, I'm the Aquarian. I'm like up in the ether.
Big time Aquarian.
Yeah. And the body has been ignored through most of my life. Now, at nearly 80 years of age, I realize how, before I finish this lifetime, coming into this body and appreciating all that this body has given so that this life could happen is my work now. So I'm creating from a different place. I'm feeling my breath.
That's amazing.
As I'm painting. I'm feeling my feet when I'm standing at the easel.
That's amazing.
And that is connected directly to your journey as an artist, as a woman, as a creator, because you've always been about the body.
So better or worse.
There's this thing, this exchange, this wonderful exchange that's going on now at this time in our lives, whereby we're both vital, we're both wonderful, we're both full of creative juice, we're both challenged hugely. Being an artist in this world is very, very challenging. Will always be, I think. But there's this quality of growing and learning each day. However expert you are with what you do, however many titles you've got on your shelf, you're still a beginner.
Beginner's mind. Yeah.
I love you so much. I am so, what is the word that I can even put to it? Because I can't say I'm so proud, because it isn't a matter of pride. It's like, I'm so grateful. I am so grateful that we have both lived to be able to experience this.
Yeah, it's really something.
To me, that is one of the greatest gifts of all. Truly. Blessings, blessings, blessings showering.
It is a great gift. I have this feeling of gratitude about the unusualness of our journey, and the way that, as a mother who's an artist, I don't know, it's like you've been this touchstone, it's like, no, wake up. We have this thing of waking each other up in very, especially in my case, dangerous moments where, you could go that way and then the whole thing shifts, right? Obviously more me than you, being the fire sign. But I'm also so grateful for the whole nuance of this experience of being a mother-daughter, because it is really unusual. And what's also really beautiful about maturity is being able to hold many different aspects of an experience with someone simultaneously, without having to say, it was this, it was that, I feel this way, blah, blah, blah. And just have all the colors, the whole palette, right? And it's a big gift. It's a big gift. And another big gift, Mom, is that what I've been seeing with you is your joy. I think for any of us to experience joy and peace and creativity is massive. It's such a blessing. And, you know, kneel and kiss the ground, you know, because that Trinity, I mean, it's come from a journey. It hasn't just arrived. It's come from a journey, you know, like crossing deserts, you know.
Yes, a heartbreak. Joy is intimate to heartbreak.
Yeah,
They are
there's been heartbreak for sure.
Yeah, it's the periods of what I've described in the past is like soul crushing heartbreak, where you just feel you can't understand it, you can't hold it, it's too big, it's like flood. But the light that comes through that storm is the most glorious light, that is so luminous, and it is reflected through all the rain, all the fog, all the clouds. It comes through, it pierces through. So that quality of joy is intimate. The light and the dark. I mean, I go on and on and on about the yin and the yang of it all, but that's what it is. And joyfulness for me at this time is the expression of my gratitude to life, my prayer, without being some serious, you know, kind of religious, you know, protocol. It's just like down on the ground, you know, thank you.
Yeah, it's so interesting. Life is so interesting. There's one more thing that I want to say about around the gratitude of being your daughter, which is that you, my experience of you is you are very, very clear with your intuition. You know, you mostly have made decisions with your intuition and gone for it. And risked, you know. And the same for me. It's not easy, but to be guided, I mean, at this point, I'm looking for that guidance in every situation. And, you know, the more you respect the intuition and not this sort of this stuff, you know, the stronger it is able to communicate. It's this combination for me of body and spirit, you know, taking over linear thought. And it's what has guided me to this home that I'm so in love with, you know, and the people in my life and the relationships I've left, you know, and the ones I've had the intuition to cultivate and stay with. And so I'm grateful to have a mother that has, you know, been an embodiment of certain qualities: risk, courage, intuition, inquisitiveness, fascination. You're very fascinated by human history, and I think that really informs your work. And I'm so fascinated by I just can't, you know, it's just extraordinary. Human beings are like, I mean, and it's really coming fast and hard right now. Maybe it always has, but when I look back at history, it doesn't seem as rapid. And I just appreciate that wonder, that sort of inquisitive kind of like wanting to, okay, I love this. This is attractive. My intuition is attracted to this. What's behind it? Because that really has guided me. It's very hard for me right now in this conversation not to call you by many of the names that I use. Oh, God. No, I can't go. No, I'm not going public with that. No. I'm not doing it. No, I love you too much.
In my heart of hearts, my longing is for our sharing to have value for other people, men and women, mothers and daughters, fathers and sons, fathers and daughters, and so forth and so on. Because I think that this kind of unique package that we are, everybody's unique. So, there's this kind of invitation, a kind of welcoming to come to the table with whatever your story is, bring it to the smorgasbord, put your platter down so that others can taste it. I was born in the year of the pig.
I was just going to say, that's a very year of the pig.
Yeah, it's very oinky. So,
I love you.
I love you so much. I love you so much. What can I say? You are my blessed shrimp.
She said it.
That's only one of a million.
A
I won't say
million.
any of the other ones. We'll save them.
We'll save them.